Devon Nicholson here, and we are in week 18 of my Hepatitis C experimental Incivvek treatment updates. And I am with Maximilian Moskal, who is a friend of mine, and he's also a filmmaker and videographer. And he's been working with me, making videos for quite a long time, and he's been working with me at my City of Ottawa job. But before he started working with me, he was actually knew of me as a wrestler because he was a wrestling fan, and we became friends over the years. But before I talk to him a little bit, I just want to update people. It's Sunday today, and I got some bad news on Friday. Not bad news, but disappointing news. My hepatitis C nurse called me Thursday night and kind of left a message informing me that I might have to do an extra 12 weeks of treatment for a total of 36 weeks instead of 24 weeks. So I tried to call her back Thursday night, couldn't get back to her. Of course, I didn't get much sleep because I was paranoid that I would have to do all this treatment, because it's like getting an extended prison sentence. You're so close to being done, then you find out you have to do 12 more weeks. So I got the nurse on the phone on Friday, and she informed me that because I was testing negative during my first hepatitis C treatment, and it came back 6 months post-treatment, they're concerned that the same thing might happen again, even though I'm testing negative now. And there's an 86% chance if I complete the entire 24 weeks of treatment, I'm at week 18 now, so I'm pretty close, that I will clear the virus permanently. But she thinks that if we continue for an extra 3 months, it might bring that percentage closer to 100%. And as we discussed, I don't know if I could take the news of the treatment not working after all that I've been through, because after I found out the first treatment didn't work, that was without a doubt the worst day of my life, and I really don't think I could take any news like that again. So in 2 weeks from now, I'm going to meet with Dr. Scully, who's my liver specialist at the Ottawa Hospital, and she's going to confirm for me on whether I have to do those extra 12 weeks or not, which would bring me to about July instead of April. So 3 months more of treatment, 3 months more of sick leave pay, and 3 months more of side effects, which are still pretty bad. But on to our special guest today, Maximilian Moskal. One of the reasons we have him on today is because during my week 19 of treatment, during my first hepatitis C treatment, which was unsuccessful, however, I was on a lower dose of ribavirin, and I was not on Incivvek. I actually had what was described as a mild stroke, and actually had to stop treatment at week 19. And of course, week 19 is next week, so I'm very nervous about that. But I wanted to talk to Max because the whole process of that day, it started earlier on in the afternoon. I was seeing spots, my arm was tingling, but unfortunately, during my last treatment, I did not have benefits. I did not have access to sick leave pay, so I still had to work. So I went to work at the gym with the City of Ottawa, where I work with Max. And Max was working that day. I was coming there to personal train somebody. But what do you remember of that particular day that was different about me from normal?
Well, that's right. That day was, I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember coming in to do some cardio, and you came in to talk to me, and we usually have conversations at the gym about wrestling and various subjects. And that day was a little bit different because I remember you coming in and you weren't yourself. You were very, you were pale, you looked a little flushed, and normally you're a very good speaker, but you weren't making much sense. And we were having a conversation just about work since we were there, and he couldn't recall our boss's name. You couldn't remember his name, and we were talking about some of our friends, Jeff, who also works out at the gym, and you couldn't remember his name, and you were kind of disorientated and confused, which is very unlike you, because usually you're a good public speaker or you're just in conversation very good, but you were completely not yourself, I would say.
And you've known me for quite a few years.
That's
and
right.
How would you say hepatitis C has affected me the most? Like, what are some of the ways that you think hepatitis C has affected me?
Well, I've known you for, it's been probably about 4.5 years now, so I've seen pre-hepatitis C and during hepatitis C, and it's two very different things. It's not the same at
Finding
all.
out about hepatitis C.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hepatitis C, it's affected you pretty much in every way, as far as what I could see. You obviously, the weight loss is the biggest physical change I could see, but another thing is because you can't work out, which is what I've always known you for doing basically. I probably see you more at the gym than anything. Not seeing you there and not working out, I could see the change, and basically that has a big effect on you because your spirit actually has a lot to do with working out. You always have a positive outlook and you're always training for something, and I think it's always something that's driven you, but now that I see you're not training, you don't really have that outlook like you normally do. So.
And I know you've seen some of the ups and downs.
Oh, no, definitely. I've seen
thinking I was going to be cured the last time and then having it come back. What was your reaction when you found out that it came back?
Well, honestly, I was completely speechless when hearing that it didn't work. That was probably the lowest I've ever seen you, so, but I can imagine it's a terrible feeling. Finding out you went through all that hell for nothing, basically, because I saw you on the treatment, you know, the weight loss and the change in moods, the crazy swings, and just generally being unhappy. But it was a really big effect on you, so.
So, you know, hepatitis C doesn't just affect the person that's on it, it affects their family and their friends. It's affected you negatively in some ways.
Oh no, definitely. We've had some arguments and fights over time. You know, generally you're a very calm person, I'm a very calm person, so it's rare there be an argument. So on the hepatitis C, you definitely weren't yourself, and I recall you being a very angry person, especially towards your family. You were just angry at everything. You know, other organizations, wrestling, or everything in general, kind of a very negative outlook, but that definitely changed as soon as you went off it. Yeah. But unfortunately, you had to go through even more hell when you found out it didn't work. So.
Yeah, it's been a terrible thing. This time I'm trying to keep more of a positive outlook. It's very hard, especially when you get news that you gotta go an extra 12 weeks. It's been a big blow to my girlfriend too, who I'm going to have as a special guest next week. But Maximilian Moskal, the other thing about him is he's filmed a lot of my wrestling matches over the years. I've given him a lot of my old wrestling footage, and he's been following my wrestling career. And he's actually put out a movie about me called This is Hannibal, not only about my professional wrestling career, but my amateur wrestling career, and very specifically about hepatitis C and how it's affected every aspect of my life. So what made you do that movie, for one thing, and what do you hope the movie accomplishes? It has a big theatrical 2013 updated re-release coming up in March.
Yeah.
It's going to take place in Ottawa at the Mayfair Theatre, and it's also going to be released on DVD through rfvideo.com.
That's right.
So what do you hope that this movie accomplishes, and what was your motivation of doing this movie?